We are set and ready to start our coffee hour conversation. So Jane, take it away. Or
well, I was gonna say, take it away, Angela. And she'll probably pass it on further.
Yes, absolutely. So we're really, really thrilled to have Christine and Laura here today to talk about the United Thank offering. As Jane had mentioned, Betty Phillips has been involved with UTO for many, many years. And when she handed that off to me, I've had the great pleasure of practicing gratitude by putting coins in my blue box as the UTO representative for our church. So I'm grateful again that Christine and Laura are going to present a little bit more about what the history of UTO has been in our diocese. So take it away, Christine.
Thanks, Angela. I'm so happy to be here with all of you this morning. It's been a lot of work to get this grant for UTO, and when it works out and it's successful, it's just an amazing feeling, and I feel like celebrating, and today's service was like a celebration of this. So it was wonderful. And John, your homily was wonderful. And so inspiring, and it fits with all of this. The Thanksgiving for the things we find in adversity. We wonder why we're in this situation now with COVID, and just how do you make something good out of this? But focusing on, sorry, I've got a phone that answers me when I'm trying to talk. Focusing on the gifts that you get from this kind of situation where we're struggling, we're doing the best we can in the pandemic. There's so many little pearls and joyful things that happen, and reasons to give thanks. And it just changes the whole outlook. And I think for me especially, UTO gives a structure to that Thanksgiving. And more than just being grateful and thanking God, it gives me an opportunity to take action, or put that gratefulness, put those blessings into action, as the little video showed. Our blessings can turn into blessings for others. And this is a perfect example of it, with your parish being blessed with the opportunity to do more through the laundry program. And I urge you not to stop there. Take pictures, document everything, and then come back and ask UTO for more to keep the ministry going, because they'll give it. And just the beginning of a wonderful journey with UTO. I'm going to turn this over to Laura, who has put together a recap of the history of UTO. She could talk for 2 hours on the subject, but she's going to talk for about 2 minutes, maybe 3, and then we'll open it up to any questions you might have. Laura is the UTO chair on the ECW board for the Diocese of Los Angeles.
Okay, hello everyone. Christine, because I'm not good with Zoom, how do I click so that I'm at view?
You're on.
Am I?
Yep, you are.
Okay, I have no idea. Okay, well, my name is Laura Samaniego, and I'm a member of St. Gregory's Episcopal Church here in Long Beach. And I've been an active member for several years now, and more recently the United Thank offering coordinator. It started very innocently enough. Our then coordinator was not able to attend a tea hosted for UTO by the diocese coordinator. So I volunteered to go in her place because I didn't know anything about this. And at that tea, I learned quite a bit about the UTO, and I had no idea previous to that really what the Blue Box was about. I have not been a lifelong Episcopalian, so a lot of the traditions were new to me, and learning as I went pretty much. But our church had been participating in the twice yearly drive, but when I spoke to people, they really didn't know what UTO was all about. And so when I got up there to speak about it, I explained to them what it was. And the United Think Offering started just as a thought of the Women's Auxiliary to support the women missionaries being sent to mission projects and individual ministries abroad. The Women's Auxiliary, or the Domestic and Foreign Missionary Society, which is formerly known as, was formed in 1871, and its key support was going to works within the church that was not funded by the general monies. In 1889, the Women's Auxiliary instituted the United Offering for the support of specific mission projects and individual ministries. The first United Offering totaled $2,188.64. And they used that money to build a church in Anvik, Alaska, and to send a woman missionary to Japan. The United Offering eventually became known as the United Thank Offering, UTO, for collecting the prayers and grateful offerings of the women of the Episcopal Church in thanksgiving for the many blessings of this life. The blue boxes were used to collect the offerings of the women of the Episcopal Church, and eventually they achieved an iconic status as a symbol for the UTO. And let me pull one out. This is the anniversary box, but there's many different styles, which I set up behind me. You can't see, unfortunately. But there are many styles that exist. If you have an older church, you may have some in your collection. So the blue boxes were used to hold the offerings. And with that first time collection just being a little over $2,000, currently, in the past year, I should say, we're up to over 5,357 grants, totaling a total of $140,625,355.77 in grants. The UTO is set up as a separate ministry within the Episcopal Church, and its support has been recognized as key to the ongoing missionary work of the church, both worldwide and here in the United States. So the United Thank Offering is a ministry of the Episcopal Church for the mission of the whole church. Through UTO, individuals are invited to embrace and deepen a personal daily spiritual discipline of gratitude. UTO encourages people to notice the good things that happen each day, give thanks to God for those blessings, and make an offering for each blessing using a UTO blue box. And some people actually keep those boxes around yearly and just put a donation as the day goes by. UTO is entrusted to receive the offerings and to distribute 100% of what is collected to support the innovative mission and ministry throughout the Episcopal Church and provinces of the Anglican community. Not all Episcopal churches have a UTO ministry or chairwoman, and some incorporate it with the ECW, Episcopal Churchwoman Ministry. It can be a totally separate group of women or incorporated with another ministry that wishes to take on the responsibility of the UTO. The current COVID-19 Fall Grant Awards are available for viewing on the UTO website, and you will find St. Luke's listed as one of the recipients of the grants awarded. Real things happen with our continued support of this wonderful ministry and give hope and light where needed. If you would like more information, obviously you can talk to us, as there is much to be learned. There is a lot provided online, although if you needed booklets, pamphlets, we could easily get that to you as well, and explain to you where to look for that information. And currently we have opening the grant season for the 2021 year has opened for applications. And if you need help with that, if you want to apply for additional monies to start a new ministry, to expand an existing ministry, there's a place for you to click on the website to ask for more information and or assistance as you need. And then it's a very well set up process with lots of assistance, lots of aid to get you going. And I believe the deadline for that is, it's coming up. Well, actually, it's in February. I forgot to write that down, but the deadline for the application process is in February. But during this time period, you get a lot of assistance on how to write it, what to fill in, to get your hopes of receiving assistance, a grant out there for you. This current in-gathering, whomever is handling it, there is a date to send it in as of December 11th to be included in this year's count of the in-gathering collection. I think I covered all the history. It's currently still going very strong, and we encourage all churches to participate as they're able to.
Thanks, Laura. And if I could just add to that, each diocese is able to put one grant proposal forward per granting session, or actually it works out per year. During COVID, they created an emergency response to COVID and allowed for each diocese to sponsor 2 grant requests. St. Luke's was the small grant request, and Camp Stevens was the large grant request. I haven't heard from Camp Stevens, so I think the only one that was awarded was St. Luke's. If you want another shot at it at another granting time, and actually this season or this fiscal year, we're allowed to have 2 grant proposals. So the one in February is the second time around. But the diocese has to sponsor only one. So if there's others lined up for it, and if there's other grant proposals that are deemed more worthy by the bishop, they're the ones that get it. So you need to start early and turn the grant proposal into us at ECW, and we have a committee that looks through the proposals and presents the top 3 or 4 to the bishop for him to make a choice. So there's a lot of steps to it, and we're just really proud that St. Luke's came through.
Judy, you have a question. Unmute. Unmute, Judy.
Okay, I am really excited about this, but I'd like to know more about what it is that we're going to get to do. And I'm remembering specifically maybe 10 years ago, my husband Byron and Paul Scranton just bought a washer and dryer and just installed it, and it was all wrong. It wasn't industrial strength, and it was just a nightmare from start to finish, though it was very, very well-meaning. So the idea of a well thought out grant-funded laundry just thrills me. So does everybody know about it but me as far as the details of how it will work?
We put in the weekly that we received the grant. It actually is pairing with our grant from the Amundsen Foundation that is going to structurally redo the women's shower area and create the shell for the laundry facility. and Paul and Byron, like their vision has gotten us through till this time.
Okay.
We have been, and actually, I think Christine, St. Francis Palos Verdes has also given us a dryer over the years. Like we have been just essentially killing one built for home use washer and dryer after another with the shower program, because we all know, your home washers and dryers are not designed to wash only towels and blue jeans, which is about all we wash in the shower program. And so the weight means that, and the volume that we wash in short order, both means that we kill the machines and that it's very, very slow. And I think the image that probably spoke somewhat terrifyingly to the ECW board in terms of COVID emergency grants is we do every week, and on Saturday, as the Thursday folks who get ready for Saturday showers will tell you, with baskets of undone laundry. And, it's in good times, those are disease carrying baskets. In bad times, it's just like, you just really, it's not a good idea having those out in our open courtyards. And so the two pieces of this, and it's sort of a wonderful connection with John's sermon, because one piece is it will allow us to wash more clothes as well as the towels, and we should be able to get it all washed and dried during the Saturday time block that we have for showers. The other piece that we hope will evolve from this is that we can do sort of a boutique, because it's going to be 2 washers and 2 dryers. It's not big. A boutique laundry love. So we would have one night when our parish community, folks who really aren't making it, and laundries have gotten more expensive in the midst of COVID because they have distancing requirements and cleaning requirements that mean they can't serve as many people, which means prices, either laundries have closed or they've upped their prices. So we have more people in our congregational community who are struggling to get laundry done or trading off laundry for food. So we're hoping to do one night a week that would be family laundry time, outdoor programs for kids, and laundry sign-up times for families. And then we have some of our tenants whom we, if we can get our little program going, that we then could suggest to Immigrant Rights Coalition, Housing Long Beach, California Families in Focus, would you like to run one night a week of a laundry program? So that we don't just, they will be primary use for our Saturday shower program, but once you have them, and then as opposed to Laundry Love, where you got to find the money to feed those machines, or get a generous laundromat to let you do it for free, less often in Laundry Love programs, we will own our own. So it's kind of an exciting vision and possibility. And just to underscore what Laura and Christine said about help, I actually think we aren't eligible to apply again for a year.
Oh, you're right.
Don't get overexcited. But Christine was on the UTO's information call that I participated in. So when we had an idea, I called Christine, pitched a couple possible ideas for St. Luke's to her. She said, I think this is the one that has legs. So that was the direction we went. She then was super helpful in getting it submitted to the bishop and the diocese, and for encouraging us to get it done for the early deadline, because there wasn't another group going for the small grant possibility with the early deadline. And it was like, they're gonna be more competition later. And I'm really grateful for the support. And then both Heather Melton at the UTO and Christine reviewed our application and helped us make it stronger. So I just have to say, we for sure did not write this application alone.
I want to get back a little bit to the UTO and other ways that it can be supported. I looked at of course, I'm old, so I've known UTO for 100 years practically. And I mean that. and I looked at it as a way for us as Christians to learn how to pray, to get into the habit of praying. And it was not for thanks prayer. Well, maybe it would be at the end, but when we're going through tough times, as so many in this world are right now, prayer is the only way we have to talk to God. And I looked at the PTA, the United Thank Offering, as a step for a person who's just getting to really understand religion, that this was a way to introduce them to an easy way to pray. And that was it. And the other thing is, we have another way that we can help the United Thank Offering, because they announced that all of the money that we pray for, if that goes into grants. Okay, well, we know that we receive free material, printed material. So when I was on the national committee, we instituted the Memorial and Gift Program, that we can send a check into that individually or by a diocese or parish or whatever, that goes into that fund, and it's given in honor of someone who has done something great, if for the church or community or whatever. And the first offering that we had from our St. Luke's, we had some sort of an evening prayer, and a collection was taken, and the ladies came up to me afterwards. This is about 30 years ago, and said, Betty, would you like to send this in for the memorial and gift? So our first gift, after a long time of not having the UTO, went for memorial and gift to help pay for the others. And I was looking back, I was on the granting committee. I was selected from Province 2 for 3 years, and then the committee elected me for another 3 in 1976 to 1982. So, but at that time, this was a program of the women. The bishop's wives started it. And it was a program of the women. And when the ECW nationally dissolved itself in order to get women's right to be ordained, a lot of politics there, they didn't really know how to manage the United Thank Offering, because it was such a great program, who was going to do it? And they didn't want it to fall apart. And so we were the kind of the guinea pigs at that time when they started. But they found that it was in one of the conventions that they had in Los Angeles, and we had a reunion of people who had been on the board. And that was when they decided that they would have the organization that they have now, with the president and so forth. And so, yes, this is my baby. I love it. And I'm so grateful to Angela. And she came up to me after a service and said that. And I thought, oh God, you answered my prayer with an angel. I really felt that way, and I'm so grateful. So anyway, and I went, sometimes I'd have to go over to St. Gregory's because we didn't have enough envelopes. So I know all about the wonderful program that St. Gregory's does. And it's a ministry that we can be so proud of. So blah.
Thank you so much, Betty, for both for your information, but also all your years of service. Christine, you were also going to say.
What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I've lost my train of thought. I've been listening to all of this. I did want to let you know that UTO is able to give everything back in the form of grants, everything that comes in, because of an endowment that has been in place at the national level for many, many years. So the endowment covers the cost of all of the volunteers that make up the National UTO Board for their travel, for the work that they do. They are volunteers, but moving them around takes some money too. And so there's an endowment at the national level for UTO and for Episcopal Church women, so that the work that we do goes on, and it's not costing, we're not taking anything out from donations, if that's important, and I think it is.
I do too.
And let me say that, let me say that if Betty, if you would give your number to Angela, I would love to talk to you to get some information and background that you have.
Thank you.
Even though
I have to tell you that I'm in Canandaigua, New York State.
oh, well, that's fine. That's what
no, but
Zoom
this
is
is
for.
it. Normally I would be in California at this time because I have a house there and I've been a member of St. Luke's for over 30 years.
Mhm.
But I have a church here, so I'm bi-churchy and bi-coastal.
Bi-coastal, yes.
So,
Well, it would be lovely to speak with you whenever you had a chance.
well, thank you. I'll remember that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I think you're doing a great job. Really.
Do we have other questions or things that people want to add to the conversation? We've got about 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, Arlene.
Now that the group is smaller, I have a confession to make. That video hit me so much. Thank you for putting into a way that I can understand how my blessing, which I hate to even say blessing, because then it always makes me think of the converse. Well, what about the other person who is not? And I say fortunate. So your video with, if I get up and say, thank you for my job, put money in the box, it's in turn being paying forward to someone else so they can in turn get a blessing. I don't know why that didn't strike me before, but it did today. And thank you.
Yeah, I love it.
And that, you know what, on that note, last year at our November drive at St. Gregory's, I forget what it's called. What we did was, instead of putting coin into the box, I told everyone to write a daily blessing and put it in there. And then at the end of the month, open that box up, read your blessings, and then make a donation based on that. And it always takes a little bit of time and effort to get people doing it. But after 4 weeks, obviously, people are getting the hang of it. And it was a nice thing to do, that I did have comments that, you know, it is good to be able to read and see what you put down as a blessing. And the blessing can be as, thank you, Lord, for the sun today. I was really cold. Or, you know, thank you for having my neighbor who says hello to me. And it really, blessings are all around us, but sometimes we forget. I mean, I see a homeless woman every time well, not every time, but many times of the week when I get off the freeway. And every time I see her, I say, thank you, Lord, for taking care of her. The sun is shining today and she's there. She's been there for a long time. So I know it's of her choice. She is choosing to be out. But I thank the Lord and to bless her with having sun on her back and, you know, clothing and things like that. So little things in our life that we have blessings for. You know.
Wonderful. Lovely.
Well, and Arlene, thank you for saying that, because really, as you all could tell, there was a lot going on in today's liturgy, a lot we wanted to bring to it. And Angela was just great about sort of putting resources and ideas and thoughts in front of us. And we'd sort of paw through, pick and choose, and cull together just what you all saw. And so, Angela, for your commitment to this ministry and your leadership at St. Luke's, thank you. And for Christine and Laura, for your leadership at a diocesan level and good ideas to move us forward both as donors and recipients of the blessings of the United Thanks Offering, and for your generosity in joining us this morning so that we could sort of have people and faces. Thank you so much. For those of you who stayed all the way till now, much gratitude. And we probably need to wave goodbye to one another so that we can get ready for worship in Spanish.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to come back at 12:30, feel free to do Christ the King in Spanish too.
Are you you're using the video footage for 12:30 too?
We aren't, because it's not, there's not enough Spanish in it. The UTO is really good about a lot of the materials being in Spanish. The videos aren't among those resources in Spanish yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I meant the Christ the King, the incense and the.
Oh yeah. We're getting some smoke.
All right. Well, it was nice to talk with you all, and I'm glad to hear St. Luke's is participating.
Thank you.
It's a good thing.
Were you?
Thank you all.
You were doing the incense. Were you in our church by any chance? Or were you in our church?
We were.
In the remodeling and well, that's our first glimpse. I haven't seen that before. It looks.
Well, we actually didn't show you any of the remodeled parts yet, because this was mindfully and intentionally all centered on the historic original altar of the church.
Okay.
And you will begin over the course of Advent to see bits and pieces of our remodeled church, other than in the construction updates in the weekly. But you'll begin to see bits, and our fingers are crossed and our hopes are held deeply in our hearts that you will actually get to see our new altar for Christmas.
I thought I saw two altars there, the one that I'm used to and a different.
So we had the old, the one, the pre-construction.
Yeah, okay.
Was that the one with the columns? Was that with the columns?
The ceramic one. With the red in the front you saw, and then you saw the marble original altar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But not the new altar yet, because it's not in our little hands yet.
You're the teaser.
It is being crafted even as we speak.
Well,
so if you want something to pray for with your UTO box, we give thanks that those craftspeople are working on our benches and our tables and our altar. There are many causes for coins there as we pray our way through that construction.
Get ready to preach. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you so much, Christine. Laura, thank you too.
Bye-bye.
On we go. And thank you, John, especially.